You're listening to Experience This, a show about the emerging experience economy with your host, Tom Young.
Hi, hey, welcome to the show. This is Tom Young. I'm sitting here with Kiran in the studio.
Hey, Tom. How's it going?
All right. Hey, Kiran, today we're going to talk a little bit about a continuing follow-up around some of the ongoing development at Hudson Yards.
Mm-hmm.
We did a show. We walked through the High Line, and we talked a little bit about your experience living there because you live right in the middle of Hudson Yards and one of the first buildings that went up at the Eugene Apartments.
Right.
And for people not familiar with this is on the west side, next to Penn Station and Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
It's the Hudson Yards is the rail yards that take the trains west out of New York.
Yeah, it's very far west.
Well, it's out to the edge of the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it goes from Madison Square Garden, and there's a post office, the old post office that's there, and then from that point west to the water is basically the train tracks, and it's the rail yards. It's the Hudson Yards.
Yeah, and there's actually two separate, the East Yards and the West Yards. So Hudson Yards, as of right now, and we'll show in some of our footage, is constructed over half of the train tracks. So the other half of the train tracks is phase 2 of the project.
Where is that?
That's going to be between 11th and 12th Avenues. So what's completed right now is between 10th and 11th.
Okay.
And so phase 2 is scheduled to be...
That's where the High Line goes out to.
Yeah, so the High Line eventually, you're right, it curves around that back end.
Okay.
So that's scheduled to be done by 2024.
So this is a very large real estate development project. I think $20 billion is the number I saw, which is massive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to point to. Is there anything that's that big?
Not
worldwide?
since the Rockefeller era. I think this is the largest development, private residential.
So in some of the interviews we saw with development executives, they liken trying to transform this part of Manhattan in the same way that Rockefeller Center has transformed the Fifth Avenue area up by St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Yep.
They got the ice skating rink and the Christmas tree. It's a big thing, and it becomes an icon. Even though there's a lot of things going on there, NBC Studios were there, and there's shopping underneath. There's some restaurants, but people view that as a icon of New York now, where you go in and Christmas time, the lighting ceremony is a big deal. Yeah,
I think the CEO of Related was mentioning that it's a 365 year. Now,
Related is the developer here.
So Related is a developer behind Hudson Yards.
Yeah.
There's also a development company, Brookfield, which is in play at Manhattan West.
Okay.
Now that is between the post office, which is on 8th and 9th Avenues.
So
massive developments, I know, a lot.
So the whole thing, we're just going to call it Hudson Yards.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's a development from the post office to the water, and there's coming in different phases, but it's tremendous. And one of the things when we did our High Line walk, that was great. We found out that the High Line is the #1 New York City tourist destination.
Yeah, about 8 million people a year.
Now you would never guess that.
No,
I would think Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty, Times Square. I'm not sure how they would measure Times Square, but
I think it's taken over as the #1.
Well, it's free.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice walk. You get a totally different feel, and we talked about that in one of our podcasts. But you live right by there. So we were there last week, and the mall opened up. So and I say mall, they don't like the term mall. They call it urban retail center.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's mall. But it's a 1 million square feet. And I likened it a lot to the massive urban retail center style developments in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That were attached to the casinos. Caesars had one. I think the new Aladdin had one that became Planet Hollywood. Mm-hmm. There's a few others, and then the Venetian shops opened up as part of Sheldon Adelson's development. And these are between $1 and $2 billion developments.
Yeah.
Just for the mall.
Wow.
So I think he said they had 1 million square feet. And so we toured it, and I toured it with you largely with a skeptical eye, because I was trying to think, a million square feet of retail. When retail we've done some shows on retail being redefined. It wasn't clear to me that the retail portion was going to have the paybacks because of the amount of overhead required to make that viable. So I'm still a little skeptical of that, but I thought I thought it was a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's very stunning.
But what drew me to it was more the social side of the development, the coffee shops, the restaurants, the things you could go do. In fact, we saw this one place.
Milos?
No. What was the place? It was like an airport lounge.
Oh, Eden.
Eden, yeah.
Yeah.
So Eden was a very akin to just similar to an airport lounge at an airport, but in the mall, where you could pay $6 for 30 minutes.
Yeah, so it's $6 for 30 minutes, $12 for an hour. And we were going back and forth because they have a list of, showers and nap pods and a list of amenities. And we weren't sure if those were included in the price.
Right.
But it is. It's a flat $6 fee for access to everything inside the space.
Yeah, it's very much like a high-end airport lounge where you can go in and take a shower if you need to. I'm trying to think of the situation where you would want to take a shower at the mall. But I think they have a helipad with access to JFK.
Correct, which is a company called Blade, which runs that shuttle.
So if you're coming on a red eye and you can take the helicopter right there and you're in Midtown very quickly, I think it's like a 10-minute ride on the helicopter. You could walk in here and for $6 to $12, take a shower, change, and get a cup of coffee and be ready to go. It's an interesting concept. I think it's, we'll see if that's successful or not. I think $6 for a half hour is a little off, but a little low to me. But we'll see. I thought it was interesting how they're experimenting with the experience economy there, which is one of the things we're fascinated with, which is why we're talking about it.
Yeah, so I think they're trying to keep the retail. The first floor of the mall is definitely most of the high-end shops. So you have all your Fendi, Cartier, etc. Yeah. And then as you move up levels, you start to notice them experimenting much more with experiences. And I think they have about 20 restaurants inside the mall total.
Right.
Then they have something called Snark Park, which is a architecture area that's set up in collaboration with a very popular brand right now, Kith. So they're definitely doing some experiential testing.
And we went to a few of the places. One place we went to, Milos.
Yep. So Milos is actually 2 floors. So we hung out on the bottom floor, which was the wine bar, the tapas with Greek-style Mediterranean-style tapas, anywhere from $5 to $10, plus an extensive wine list. And then upstairs is actually fine dining. And they're also going to have a portion that is outside on a terrace, which overlooks the vessel.
I liked, when we walked in, we were able to snag a few seats at the bar.
Yeah.
It was pretty crowded. And all the wines are from Greece.
Yeah.
So, and the tapas or the appetizers you could get there were all foods from Greece. And they were relatively reasonably priced. You could sample a lot of things, like for $5 to $7, which is very low when you think you're in Manhattan in one of the most expensive areas.
It was interesting because I actually asked them about why they didn't sell wine by the bottle. And they said that they really want people to come, enjoy, have conversation with their friends, and try more than one wine and talk about it. So they're definitely trying to create this social setting around wine and food.
They changed they make a note on the wine list. It's a 4-ounce pour versus 5, so they get 6 glasses out of a bottle versus 5. So they help with that. But the prices weren't unreasonable given where we were at.
No.
But it did allow you to experience a few things. We got a few appetizers and, we got some kind of a Greek champagne. I don't know what the hell they
sparkling
call it.
white. I don't remember.
Only the French call it champagne.
Yeah.
But it was very good.
Yep.
A nice experience. And then you and Rohan went to a place, a British place that had gin and tonics and
Queen's Yard.
Queen's Yard, yeah.
Queen's Yard's pretty neat. It's about 11,000 square feet in total. And the space is divided into 4 individual sections within the 11,000 square feet. So they've got a kitchen, which has pub-style food. You can get fish and chips there.
Right.
Then they've got the bar area, which does cool gin and tonics, the restaurant, and then they also have a cafe, which is all day.
Yeah.
So coffee, pastries, things like that.
So you literally live a block away from here.
Yeah.
And so other than the time that you went the day it opened, because
Yep.
you called me about it, and then you and I walked over there maybe twice.
Correct.
Have you been there other than that?
I think more than I want to admit.
So for you, it is an extension of your neighborhood.
Yeah, and there's been nothing. There's a couple of restaurants on the west side, but there hasn't been anything where you can go and have a couple of options under one roof, and you don't have to go that far. So it's been cool, and it opened on March 15th, and I think in 1 week we probably went back about 5 times, just in 1 week.
Wow. And so another time we went over there, we went over with Bart and TJ before one of our meetings. We had a dinner meeting. We went over to this a Spanish place. It's similar to, I say similar. It was kind of similar to Italy, but
Yeah.
a Spanish theme.
Yeah.
I think Italy is a little bit more immersive. It has retail and classes and stuff. I didn't see that there, but it's not done. It was a soft opening.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were there where they were training people, and again, a wide diversity of different kind of Spanish foods. It's not just paella, although that was there.
Yeah.
And probably one of the unique ways I've seen it being cooked on an open wood fire.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
But a lot of nice foods in the same style as the Greek one. You can get a sampling of the wine and appetizers at the bar. It was very nice.
I think what the restaurants are definitely trying to focus on is this community feeling of coming in with
Yep.
a group and socializing centered around food.
Yeah. But you're experiencing this because you've lived there for about a year now, right? Mm-hmm. And you signed up for another year. That's good.
Yeah, we did.
Seems like a no-brainer to me. But you're seeing this build out around you.
Yeah.
And it's becoming, I'm going to put words in your mouth, but is it for you becoming a more immersive? You can see the vision of the development start building out around you.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
It's finally starting to come to fruition for living in a construction site for many years.
And even the High Line, which is the number one tour, that's going to expand out to all the way out to the water eventually.
Correct. And it's a big chunk of it dead ends right into, well, it all dead ends into different aspects of Hudson Yards.
Yeah. So that I like going there. It's a nice place. It's hard to park around there because they're still doing so much construction, but that'll get figured out when that gets built out. And the subway's extending out there.
Correct. Yeah, the 7 train.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways it's quite accessible to get there now.
So we're going to go back because you're there. We do a lot of projects in Hudson Yards, so we'll probably go back and check out some different things. But one of the things we try to get people to start thinking about is again, go back to the experience of time. Is it a good use of your time to go there? I don't know that I would go shopping there. That's not the kind of person I am, but people who like to shop at the high end, there's certainly the high end stores are there to get an idea. I was asking, your sister does the
Rent a Runway.
But I was asking, would she come here and look and get ideas of just cool clothes and then go onto her app and then just rent those clothes?
Yeah, she might do that. I mean, Neiman Marcus is the anchor store there.
Yeah.
And they're very fashion forward.
Yep.
And it's definitely a place to go for inspiration.
We didn't go into the Neiman Marcus when we were there.
No, we didn't. We need to check it out. It's pretty neat.
They have a cafe in there as well, right?
Mm-hmm. They have a really cool bar as well.
Yeah. So it's a little bit like Harrods in the sense where they started putting in the store, within a store within a store, where they have the concept like that.
And we were in there a couple days ago. One neat thing that they have is in the women's department, whatever clothing you buy, they have a on-site personalization center where you can get stuff embroidered. So different patches or, you can get your name embroidered on your jean jacket, etc. So they're definitely trying to, again, another type of experience within the store.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think when there's going to be some public spaces that they're building out in the final phases where they'll have concerts, shows, exhibitions, and I expect you'll see this. And I think the term that the guy used was a 21st century Rockefeller Center.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, it's a big statement, but you can $20 billion. It's really nice what they're doing. I encourage people if they're in New York to go check it out.
Yeah, it's very neat. I think the next big opening is of the Culture Shed, which is going to have a lot of the concerts and shows. So it's coming up in about 2 weeks' time.
Really?
Yeah.
So soon?
Yeah. So I think they kind of staged it. The mall opened on the 15th of March. Then the Vessel, which is the walking staircase by Thomas Heatherwick, that opened April 1st. And now the Shed is opening in about 2 weeks' time.
Have you gone to the top of the Vessel?
I have. It was freezing the day I went. It's really cool, though. It's about 3,000 steps in total. Or you can take an elevator.
Do they charge for the elevator?
No, it's free.
All right. 'Cause I think I might have to do that. I'm not walking up 3,000 flights of stairs voluntarily.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
But that's just a piece of art that's a tourist attraction you can walk on.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what the hell it was.
There's mixed reviews in the press in New York, but it's pretty neat.
Well, a lot of these, we were talking before the show, a lot of these icons that get built are at first people hate them.
Yeah.
And then they become iconic. Like the Eiffel Tower in Paris was hated by the Parisians when it went up.
Yeah.
Now it's the icon in Paris.
I definitely feel that I've been reading, a lot of the big articles in the city, the New Yorker, Eater, Curbed, etc. And the press is coming down a little bit hard on Hudson Yards.
Why?
Mixed reviews. Some people are saying that it doesn't really truly reflect the diversity of New York, and it's
virtue signaling.
Yeah, I mean it's new, so it's gonna get some.
I get that
negativity.
Look, I'm skeptical at some level, but hopeful that it accomplishes what it's trying to do, because if it can accomplish the goals, it's a net asset to New York. I think, and it sets a blueprint for redevelopment of other areas.
Yeah.
And one of the things we talk about, the redefining of retail, is sort of the death of the single front store. Mm-hmm. And malls are dying because malls were simply just a single roof over multiple stores.
Right.
But the malls that are doing well are the malls that incorporate experiences into the whole thing, so that you go there not just to shop, but you're there to do other things, and maybe you shop, and it's a whole mixed thing.
Yeah.
So places with restaurants and taverns and movie theaters and all kinds of things like that will drive a mall as a destination versus a utilitarian view of the mall, which is a place to shop. Mm-hmm. In that sense, 1 million square feet seems like, well, I'm probably skeptical of whether that's going to be successful. They may retool some of that space.
Right.
But we were walking by some of the high-end shops. They had expensive staff there. I didn't see a single customer in some of these places.
Well, I mean, actually, if you notice it, there's on the weekends, the place is packed, but you don't necessarily see a lot of people with shopping bags.
Yeah, you got to figure out how to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
And the eateries and the cultural experiences people will pay for. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, and I guess people buy really expensive fashion items and clothing.
I don't know.
I'm not sure they go there to do that often enough to pay the rent. I mean, it's not a cheap place. I can't imagine what the rents are there.
I don't know. I mean, and then a shop like Rolex, I don't know, maybe if you purchase a Rolex, you get it shipped home and you don't really carry the bag around with you. Not sure, but there's a lot of expensive stuff on that first floor. So
that's going to cater to some people, but when we talk about the experiences, we're looking for the organization and an atmosphere that's highly social. And retail experiences that create a social environment. And I think that at some level this does that. Mm-hmm. in New York. If I think of the other developments in New York that have retail as part of the social, there used to be the South Street Seaport. Right. And that's been, they had a big fire, and then I don't know if they actually rebuilt that or not.
They did revamp it a bit.
But that was a big destination back 25, 30 years ago, it was big. You go there was a lot of bars, a lot of activity, a lot of outdoor things. There was shopping there, a nice mixed use. You have Columbus Circle,
right?
The Time Warner Building, another nice mall.
Yeah.
But it's mixed. There's other things to do there, right next to the Central Park. You have Rockefeller Center as old school.
Right.
And then you have Hudson Yards. And what was interesting, the guy who's doing the project was saying the best rents in the city for them are there, whereas the Upper East Side is probably the least desirable from a rent perspective.
He's specifically talking about a building called 1 Hudson Yards, which is a rental, and a 1-bedroom there will run you from between $5,000 and $6,000
for 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
So that's more than people's mortgages for the most part.
Yeah, it's pricey.
So it's not for the faint of heart.
No.
Maybe save up and sign for a 1-year lease to experience it. But you love living there.
Yeah, it's great. I really like it.
And again, just real quick, why do you like living there?
I think my building in particular is really big on community. So I think from a social perspective, when I lived in other buildings in the city, I would always have to leave my area to go find those social activities and things to do. And so I've definitely noticed that I've cut back on my searching for it elsewhere. And it's cool. It's cool to just be connected and plugged in.
You
nearby.
become friends with a lot of people in your building.
Yeah, definitely.
And do they have similar feelings about the overall development of Hudson Yards?
Yeah, I think people in the building are generally overall very excited about it. I've actually ran into a couple of people in Little Spain at various points. It gives us another place to hang out that's nearby and stuff to do.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to going back there. We'll be back there this Friday.
Yeah.
And we'll be probably recording some stuff there. We have some meetings at the Eugene.
Yeah.
And I look forward to going back and experiencing some of the different aspects. We only went to a couple of places.
Yeah.
I want to see some of the other ones. I'd like to walk through the Neiman Marcus and get a feel for how they're doing that. I'm very interested in, people aren't parting with $20 billion casually.
No, they're not.
So, and it's not that people won't make mistakes. They could. But when that kind of money is being thrown at something, you want to step back and pay attention and say, well, what are they trying to accomplish here?
Yeah.
And then how does it tie into our premise on this podcast series, which is people are going to start valuing time more so than money. And what they're trying to capture here, at least with the mall and the culture shed and the High Line, is a place for you not just to spend money, but to spend time.
Totally agree.
And then the issue becomes, is this a good use of your time? And so far, you've been there half dozen times or more. Has it been a good use of your time?
Yeah, I've had a great time. Great experience each time.
Same with me. I've walked there. I've been there twice into the mall area, but in general, I get a little frustrated with the amount of construction going there when I try to go in and park and get around. But I'll just put up with that because I know that eventually this is going to get built out. It's going to be really nice. Yeah,
it's definitely turning out to be a really nice neighborhood.
So I encourage people to go there.
Yeah.
When it gets warmer, we had a nice warm day last weekend, but when it gets warmer soon, we'll do a nice another walk on the High Line, go down to the Meatpacking District again, and do it in the warm weather.
Sounds good.
We might have to fight the crowds if we do, though.
Oh, we are going to. We'll just be prepared for that.
We'll have to do it during the business day. We'll do that. So.
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, thanks very much.
See ya.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Kiran, I think you were supposed to say that.
Yeah, thanks. I'll take it from here.
All right, well, we got to do this is the new Outcast.
Oh, the outro. The outro.
I think Outcast is a new word. All right, outro. We're doing a new outro. We got to cover a few things.
All right.
One is what? Subscription.
Do you subscribe through?
We want people to subscribe to this, not just listen to it occasionally.
Okay, yeah. Check us out.
The second thing is nothing's better than what? A 5-star rating.
Always 5 stars.
Got to give us the 5 stars because we get better search outcomes. Mm-hmm. And the last thing is comments.
We need those. Yeah, we need your feedback.
We want to know what people are thinking. So you can check us out. The best way to do it, if you're not sure, some people don't know how to do it. Go to our website. You can check it out. We'll have a full set of instructions. So whatever app you're using. Most people use, what do you use?
I use Spotify.
You do?
Yeah.
So we have Spotify, we have iTunes, YouTube. There's a whole bunch. Whatever you use, we have it. And if we don't have it, let us know, and we'll try to figure out how to get it.
We can send you a paper-based instruction.
Actually, we do have paper-based instructions, even though that's a fun inside joke to our team. So anyway, Thanks for listening, and check us out on our next shows.
Thanks. See ya.